everybody, this is Michelle. I'm back and I got off work a little bit early today, so I thought I would come and work on our box project, our explosion box project with you today. So in the last video that I will link down below, I have created the box, the lid, and the base, and I just think it's adorable how it's turning out. Now this is an explosion box and we're going to be putting some things inside of it. So when you take off the lid, it will explode out. And I've already done two of the pieces. So we're going to do kind of a mirror image of this one here and a mirror image of this one over on this side. But it's turning out really cute and I'm loving how it's doing. So today, let's start with this piece here. So this is a Neverending album that's going to go on this side, and it will open like so. And like so, and I left this blank on purpose to put a picture on, and you could obviously put a picture on here too. I chose these papers because I thought it was absolutely adorable to have all of those different elements in there, and I thought that was nice. And then this is the back side of that, so just looks really pretty. And then if you watched my first video and you saw those strips that I kind of cut the wrong length, I went ahead and repurposed those, so I used those on the spines for this particular piece here. And it goes like that, and then back here. So this also will open up to the middle, and I didn't put anything on here yet, but I'm going to. I just haven't gotten to the decorating stage of it yet. We just got kind of the base of it done. So you have lots of opportunity. So this is one of those never-ending albums, and I just glued it onto the side of the box. It is a 5-inch page, so this is 4.5 by 4.5, so it'll hold a lot of pictures. And we have a seam binding closure, so we're going to work on that first, and we'll get the other side done, and then we'll go and I'll show you this one here. You're going to love that. All right, so to make the Neverending album, you will need a couple things. So I do have a couple pieces of seam binding ready to go, and they're cut at about 14 inches or so. And then I have my pattern papers cut ready to go. And then you'll need, this says 6 for both albums. You'll need 6 pieces of cardstock total. Okay. So 3 for each of the albums. So I've already created one. You're going to create this one with me on camera here. So we are going to make 2 total. So for that, you will need 6 that are 9 by 4.5. Okay. Then once you get your cardstock, and this is all you need, we're going to put them in our scoreboard, and I'm going to grab my bone folder. The 9 at the top, you're going to score at 4.5, and you'll do that with 2 of those 3 pieces for each of the books. And then the third piece, we're going to put it with the 9 at the top, and you're going to score this one at 4, 4.5, and 5. So this one will have 3 scores, and the other 2 will only have the 1 in the middle. Okay, really super, whoops, simple. I just hit my light with my scoreboard. So then we'll go ahead and fold and burnish our pieces. And I've done this before. I really like making albums using this method, or little inserts using this method, because it gives you a lot of space to, you know, put a lot of pictures in a relatively kind of compact format. So I like it. All right, so that one gets bent that way, and then this one gets bent this way. So this is the one with the 3 scores. So you're going to end up kind of with almost like a W-shaped kind of piece. Okay, this is where the pages are going to adhere. So then you just take your pages. Now what I usually do is I put my 2 pieces with just the 1 score together so that they're like so. And then this piece, I usually will put glue on and then just squeeze that on the open ends, on the inside of those pieces. If that is hard for you to do it that way, what you can do is open them up, and then with kind of the W, or the indent here, you can put glue on here and then add these to the top. Okay, so we'll do it that way so you can see that. I just grab my little glue here. maybe I'll grab my glue there. Let's try this. There we go. And you just want to make sure you don't get it into the creases, okay? And you just want to put glue on that 1/2 inch. And then we're going to put our page, we're just going to glue that right to the inside there so that it will be right smack dab in the center, okay? And just make sure that you don't put glue anywhere else because you don't want anything glued together except for that 1/2 inch score, okay? So far we've got our little W here, like this, okay? And we've got that first page right there. The second page will go to the other side of that W, like that, okay? So we can go ahead and fold this flat and put glue on this one here. And then this one will go right to the other side of that score. Here we go. And then we can flip this over and then carefully flip that back and then make sure that's adhered down. Like that, okay? So then what you have, and we turn it back to the orientation so I can show you, that piece here that I told you would go to the ends of those two pieces, that's glued down, okay? So then those will fold to the inside, and then these will fold to the outside, and that's it. So then it opens like so. And you turn it, and then it opens like that, okay? This back will be glued down, and then this will also open up this direction, okay? So this is going to be the front. So to get our kind of bearings on this, this is the front. So we have it opening like this, and then you have that inner page, and here's that 1/2 inch gusset, or, you know, what you want to call it, the attachment, I guess, the 1/2 inch score. And then I'm just going to cover this with my pattern paper that I've already gone ahead and prepared. So this pattern paper, this is a little bit of yellow artisan cardstock. I got that a little bit crooked there. This is a little bit of yellow artisan cardstock, cut at 4 3/8 by 4 3/8. And then I cut out of the pattern paper from this collection, there was a square that was about 4 by 4 that came out. And let me show you kind of how let's see, I think I have it. I do. I'm going to show you what I cut it out of. Let's see. Right here. The other one I cut out of, and I don't know if, yeah, there it is. So the other one that I used came out of this sheet here. Okay, so this basically I cut out like a 4 by 4 area, and I tried to do it kind of strategically so I didn't like cut through everything. So what I ended up doing was like cutting off the borders here, top and bottom, and then trying to, you know, cut that out so I could keep my stamps and stuff for other things. So that's what I did with this one too. I just tried to really carefully cut that out. So that's where I got those, and that'll be on the front. Now on the back, what we're going to do is put our seam binding for the closure, because you do need to do that. So I'm going to just grab my seam binding, and at 2 1/4, which is the center here, I'm just going to put a little score tape on either side, and then we'll set our seam binding down on that. Okay, so that'll be the back, and then this will tie to the front and keep it closed. So then we just need to put our pattern paper. So what I ended up doing was I have strips for the 1/2 inch piece, and I think I need to trim that one down just a wee bit. Do I need to trim that one down? No, that one will work. And then I have a piece for here, and I have my piece for here, and then I have my piece for here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let's see, I'll show you that. Turn the page. and I have my pieces covered for, whoops, there and here, okay? And then I have my 2 pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this one down because it is a little bit too wide, and glue these down, and then we'll add them to our book. Okay, so I finished my little album, and I went ahead and put all the pattern paper in there, so I'll show you what it looks like. And it's just basically kind of a mirror image. The papers are obviously a little bit different because the different flowers will be represented, but turned out really cute. So this one here, we'll go ahead and go on the opposite side. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this guy around. It'll go opposite of this one here, and we're going to sit that right like that, okay? So when I glue this on, because it is on the base, and you know, you got some room there, you're gonna have to kind of go underneath it with your hand to press it down. So I'm just gonna put glue, I should probably get that in camera here, put glue all over this. And I'm trying not to get it too close to the edge because I don't want it seeping out. And then I'm just going to center that like so. Okay, and then go underneath, okay? I thought it would be easier to put the box onto the base before I added all of these things to it. So that's why I did that. But definitely if you know, you could do it if you wanted to by adding all of this stuff and then putting it on there, but I thought it was kind of easier to do it in the order that I'm doing it. Okay, so then you have your second piece. So that's all done. So you have the 2 Neverending albums right here. Now this one here is a sliding album, and this one's really cool. So it opens up. There is a little seam binding tie that you need to have to kind of keep it closed because it will flop a little bit, but it's not meant to open as an album. It's meant to slide. So it goes like this, and then you have extra pages here for photos. And it's just an adorable little way to put more pictures. So you can definitely put picture here, and then 2, or actually 3 here, and then 3 here. So it will hold quite a bit, and then it just slides shut. So it has a little tab closure. I used a tab that I had, a punch that I have in my stash. This is one that I've had for 100 years by McGill, and it does a little tab. You can use any tab you want as long as the whole thing will fit within the 5-inch square, okay? So let me show you how to do that one. This is really a fun, it's a little bit fiddly, and I apologize for that, but it will be totally worth it once you get it done, okay? So for this one, you will need, I punched a little piece of that banana split artisan cardstock, just made a little tab there. So again, any tab that you want. And then you will need, for 2 of these, you will need 6 that are 8.5 by 4, 4 pieces that are 3 3/4 by 3.5, and then 4 pieces that are 6 by 1/2 inch, okay? Like that. So again, half of these are already used for the other set of pages for this. So we'll use half of those for this. So then we'll grab our scoreboard, and we're going to do some scoring. So on the sliding page pieces, so the long pieces that are 8.5 by 4, we're going to put the 8.5 at the top. We're going to score at 4 and at 8. Okay, so you'll have 2 panels that are 4 inches and then a 1/2 inch here. So we'll do that on all 3 of those pieces, 4 and at 8, and then 4 and 8. Okay, so they're all scored exactly the same. And then our little pieces that are 3 3/4, I'm going to turn it this way because it's just easier for me. 3 3/4 by 3.5. So put the 3 3/4 at the top and score at 3 1/8. Okay, so 3 3/4 at the top, score at 3 1/8, and that will give you a 5/8 inch piece of tab here. We're used to doing a 1/2 inch, but you really need that extra 1/8 of an inch so that it turns properly around that folded page, okay? So you'll need 2 of those. And then last but definitely not least are 6" by 1/2 inch. We're going to put those in the scoreboard, and we're going to score at 1 and at 5/8, okay? 1 and 5/8. So, or I'm sorry, 1 and 5 and 1/8. 1 and 5 and 1/8, okay? You will have a 7/8 inch tab on one side and a 1 inch tab on the other, okay? And honestly, you know, the 7/8, it doesn't matter. These are going to be tucked into those pages to make it slide. And I just wanted to kind of, I don't know, keep that measurement even at the 6 inches. So, you know, if you want to do 6 and an 8 and have an inch on either side, you can totally do that too. It doesn't matter. All right, your page pieces, we'll start with those. We're going to miter the 1/2 inch tabs like so. The little pages, the 3 3/4 pages, we are not going to miter. Do not miter those, okay? Get rid of those. And then what you're going to do is take these, we're going to fold, and then we're going to fold that tab over and create like a tube. But I'm going to fold that so that the tab will be on the outside, okay? Because I don't want anything inside impeding anything. So then you're just going to take your glue and glue that down to all 3 pieces. Okay, so you have a tube. Do that again. And I'm just going to fold that down. I'm going to fold that tab. Now you may have to kind of use your bone folder to get that down. It's okay. A little bit of glue. Try not to get it on the inside of that little tube, okay? You want to try and keep that free for this little slider mechanism that you put on. Okay. One more. This one I kind of played with already. All right, there we go. So you have those. All right. Glue that down. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our tabs. So on the top of one of these tubes with the tab on the left-hand side on the back, okay, we're going to put this tab right on top of the page, okay? So I'm just folding it to give it a little bit of strength. I'm going to glue it shut. And again, you can make any tab you want. You could just make a little rectangle, like maybe 1.5 by 2, score it on the 2 at 1, fold it over, and then round corners, however you want to make a tab. And that's just going to glue right on top of that page. Okay, that'll be the top page. So I'm going to get my ruler. This is 4 inches. And my tab will line up about 2 1/8. So I'm just trying to center that. Okay, that's all I'm doing. Okay, and then I have my pattern papers cut already to cover my pages. So I have 2 little ones here that will cover these pages. And then I have my other pages. So these here are 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. And then these are 3 by 3 3/8, okay? So we'll go ahead and glue these down, and I've cut 3 of them, so I'll have a on the top, the middle, and the back page. So I'm just going to glue that right over top of that tab. You don't want that tab on the underside because it'll get caught up in all the things. So that's why the tab is on the top, okay? So I'm going to just glue this down. This will be the first page. All right, and you do need to add your pattern paper to everything, okay? So there's our first page. This will be my second page. Tab on the back to the left, tab on the back to the left, okay? This will go here, this will go here. And then you have your pages. We're going to glue one there, and we're going to glue one here, okay? Do fold and burnish these pages. And go ahead and do kind of both sides just to make sure that it moves nice and freely, okay? And I probably didn't get that in camera. Sorry about that. I've got a new setup, and my camera sits a little bit differently than I'm used to, and so sometimes I forget and I don't get it in the frame, and that is bothersome to me. Okay, so I'm going to glue the papers down, and then we'll come back and do the next step. So now that our papers are glued on, hopefully I'm still in camera here, we're going to take this page here, we're going to glue it to the top of the last page, and what we're going to do is we're going to center it top and bottom, and we're going to line this edge up to the pattern paper edge on that. So we're just going to put some glue there, okay, and I'm going to line it up, try to center it, okay, so that it is like so, okay, so it will go right to the edge of the pattern paper. All right, make sure that we have enough room here for the pages once they're stacked to still have the pages go, okay, so right to the edge of the pattern paper, so you'll still have that kind of 1/16 of an inch of the bottom tube cardstock showing, okay, right to the edge. We're going to do that to both the last page and the middle page, okay? So glue, and then right to the edge of that purple pattern paper, okay? And I'm just kind of eyeball centering it. All right. We should make sure that we don't glue things down. We don't want to glue down, right? And then I think I just wiped a little bit of glue on there. I'll take that off real quick. Okay, so we have those. Okay, so now here's the assembly part of it. So we're going to take one of these pieces here. We're going to fold those lines, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to start from the back. You're going to put it through that tube, okay? And you will notice that when you do that, the scores are a little bit wider than the actual page. So try to center this as much as you can. And then what I ended up doing was taking like a little clip and just kind of making sure that it didn't wobble around, okay? Then what you're going to do is take this page and then flip it like that, okay? So the right side is like this. Just turn it over like that. We're going to glue this into that tube. So I'm going to put just a little bit of glue because I don't want it getting all over the place. I want it to stick enough inside this tube, but I don't want it like oozing out and gluing everything. I just want that tab glued. So I'm going to put this in here, making sure that that strip is all the way up to that fold. And then I'm going to open that tube. I'm going to put that in here. And stick it down, okay? So it should be glued to the top side of the back of that tube. Hope that makes sense, okay? So then what you're going to do, go ahead and take this off. We're going to turn this over, and then this is the fiddly part. So you're going to have to put glue here, and then you put it in the tube and stick it down inside the tube, okay? So this is definitely a fiddly part, and it doesn't have to be like super pretty on that little tab, but just put a little bit of glue, tuck it into that tube, okay? Make sure everything is straight and pulled, you know, to the edge, and then you pop that in there, glue it down, okay? So then that's the sliding mechanism right there, okay? So it's through this tube here and glued to the tube there. I hope you can see that. I know it's probably pretty hard to see, but that's how you do it. We're going to do this one more time, and that's how you put this thing together, okay? So fold your little scores on your 1/2-inch piece. Now, if you don't want to do this, If this is too fiddly, you can always make 4 of those Neverending albums as well. If you really like this, you can make 4 of these if you want, okay? So, and this is what I'm talking about. When this opens up all the way, I want to make sure my pages will open properly. So that's why you need that little bit of an extra piece, okay? Or a little extra room for movement. So I'm just kind of centering that just a little bit bigger than the little tube page. And then I'm going to use this to kind of try to help make sure it stays where it's supposed to. So we have our front page. We're going to flip it upside down, put a little glue here. All right, we're going to stick it in that tube, and we're going to glue it right to that edge by that score. So essentially it's gluing to the underside of that back side of the tube, okay? And then we turn it over, or right side up. Then we'll go ahead and put a little bit of glue here. And I've done this with score tape too, and it works just fine. So anyway, open that tube and tuck that tab kind of gently in there. And then art glitter glue does give you a second to be able to kind of fiddle with it. Fold that in there. Don't use too much glue. You will not be happy if you do. You just want enough to be able to kind of glue that in there, okay? Then you can put your bone folder inside just to make sure that nothing is stuck where it's not supposed to be. And voila, there is your page, okay? So, and then you can go ahead and kind of squish those little ends. You see those little ends? You can kind of squish them with your hands, kind of open them up a little bit, and that'll help the mechanism. When it glues down, it'll be a whole lot easier to slide too, because it'll be stable on the bottom, okay? And that's how that works, okay? Then when you open it up, you have all of these page opportunities. Pretty cool, huh? So then that closes, and we're going to put the tie. This one I did top and bottom, okay? So I did it about 1 inch in from the top edge and the bottom edge, okay? So I'm just going to use my ruler here, and whew, I am tired. So my husband and I work together at the same place, and he drove home and I fell asleep in the car. So I'm still trying to wake up. All right, so about 1 inch. Then I'm going to go ahead and take that off, grab my seam binding. I cut it again at about 14 inches or so. Gives you enough room to tie knots at the end, and then trim those off, depending on how full you want your bow. Put that down like so. I'm going to put just a little bit of score tape. I like to do this. I don't know that it's necessary, but I like to do it. I'm going to trim off those little leavings too. All right, so now we have our tie here. So we can go ahead and tie that, get that taken care of. And then we'll add this to our book. Now when we do this, we're going to center it top and bottom, side to side. We have to make sure that the tab fits within that 5-inch space once you put that on. So just before you use a tab, double check and make sure that it's going to fit. You don't want it to be too big and then not, you know, fit on the page, okay? I have a lot of tab punches, and I have some that are like, you know, these huge circles and stuff like that. That would not work. You want something that's more of a flatter, kind of a skinnier tab. All right, so let's get our box. This will go opposite here, like so. Okay, so let's do this. put a little glue. And again, I'm not going like super close to the edge because I don't want it seeping out and gluing the interaction together, you know, and gluing it down where I don't want it and all that stuff. Then I'm going to kind of center it top and bottom and then side to side, okay? So I'm looking at the edge of my tab and then the edge of my book, and that looks pretty darn good. And I'm just gonna press that down. So anyway, there you go. So now you have your 2 slider pieces. So if we go ahead and open all of this up, you have a ton of room for pictures. And I hope you can see that. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. Oh, you can. I think you can. And then you have these guys here that have all of this interaction here. So lot of room for all of your things. So I think this turned out really kind of cool. These will flop a little bit, so you do need the seam binding for that to do. But then that is basically, that is your album. Now, we are going to still make some stuff, so stay tuned here. I'm going to tie these up, and then we're going to work on a box for the middle because we're going to make something, a few somethings to go in that box. The box for the inside, you will need a piece that's 12 by 10 of the cardstock and then pattern papers. Now, I picked 4 pieces that are 1 7/8 by 1 7/8, and then 5 pieces that are 1 7/8 by 3 7/8. Okay, we're going to make a box. This is basically going to be made like the lid so that we could put all the pattern paper on it and then fold it into itself, and then it will cover up all of the tabs. So it will be total of 2 by 4 with 2-inch sides. So we'll start with the 10-inch at the top. We're going to score at 2, 4, 6, and 8, and then we'll turn it to the 12, and we're going to score at 2, 4, 8, and 10. Okay, then what we're going to do is cut out, we're going to make tabs on this side. Let me get my pencil right. So tabs on the, if you look at the 4 squares that are on the outside, we're going to make tab, 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 and then these guys will get cut out just like we did the lid. It's just going to be a different kind of size. All right, so we'll go ahead and get our scissors, and I'm going to cut straight up the first 2 kind of sections, and then I'll go ahead and just miter and miter, and then it's a little floppier because it's a little bit bigger. I'm cutting the scores out. I'm going to cut that off and then cut that off. Okay, so you'll have a tab. Okay, you can see that pretty good. So we're just going to repeat the process, and we're going to go around, and I'm just going to do around the 4 sides again. So just pinwheel cut, right? Just like we did the lid, it's just a different size. That's all. Cut straight up, and then cut that little tabby off. All right, 1 more, or 2 more actually. All right, so there you go. We'll take all these pieces out of the way, and then I'm going to fold and burnish all of my squares, and I'm going to try to remember to do all of them this time instead of having to go back and repeating the process. So I'm going to do that. And again, the sides, this will be a 2 by 4 inch box. The sides will be 2 inches tall. Okay. And it'll be nice and reinforced too. And I didn't make a bigger box because I wanted to have enough room for my goodies. that I have wanted to, you know, put on the sides of the inside of the box. So I wanted to have enough room for when the box to close, there's going to be enough room. And then I also, yeah, wanted to decorate around this box too. So that's kind of where I was thinking. So the pattern papers that I picked out. So for the inside of the box, I picked out this one here so that when you look into the box, you'll see that. These are cut an 1/8 inch smaller than the piece. So like this bottom piece of cardstock here that I'm covering is 2 by 4. So this is 1 7/8 by 3 7/8. Okay, so we'll cover the inside, bottom. Okay, then we're going to flip it over. And we're not going to cover the bottom here because that's going to be glued down, okay? But the box will come up like so. So I'm going to have my pattern paper here on the outside, kind of right side up. And then I'm going to have a purple, the opposite side on the inside, okay? So if it helps to kind of get that direction to know where your pattern papers are going to go, you can go ahead and do that. So then I'm just going to lay this down, and then you'll just have to make sure you get the right orientation for the sides. So the outside pieces will be on the will end up on the inside of the box. Okay, and then the inner kind of rectangles that we're covering here will be the outside. Okay, that makes sense. So when you fold that box up, you want to make sure the orientation is good. So there you go. Okay. Like that. Okay. So then this one will go this direction. Okay. This will go here. And then we have our little side pieces. Okay. All right. So I'm going to glue those down. I'll be right back. Okay, outside is covered, inside is covered, okay? So then we just need to do the same thing that we did before. We're going to go ahead and fold those tabs up to the inside and then go ahead and glue those down. So I'm just going to put glue on the tabs, and you know, they don't have to be like this huge. If you want to cut them down a little bit, you probably could. But this way, I definitely get a lot of coverage on the box, and it's going to be nice and sturdy, okay? So that's kind of why I'm leaving them. Okay, and we'll do this one. Just lining up my sides here, and then I'm going to fold that back just so you can see. Okay. Now when you do this, make sure that your other tab is on the inside so that you don't have to like fold your box out to get the tab in the right spot. You want it all kind of lined up so the tabs are on the inside there. So I'm going to line that up. Okay, fold that back so you can see. So there's that last tab here. Down, lined up my sides here. I'm going to go in. Okay, like so. All right, and these will fold down and glue in. Okay, so let's see. And of course, that one's not going to come out now. There we go. There we go. All right. So then we just put glue on these and fold them in, and our tabs are covered, and our inside of our box has pattern paper, and it looks beautiful, and it's double and triple reinforced. So we are going to have one sturdy little insert box to put in our project. All right, there it is. Very nice, very sturdy too. Okay, so This is going to get added into our box. So we're going to open this up. We have all of our elements put in there. Now we can put this box in. So I'm just going to center that right in the middle. It's going to give us enough room so that when we fold up the sides, we'll have enough room for the box inside and then the goodies that we're going to put in it. Okay, so I'm just going to put some glue on the bottom. I'm not going to go too close to the edges because I don't want it seeping out, you know, all over everything. And then I'm going to just center this and, you know, wherever you want like the front to be. So I'm going to just go in. It's about a 1/2 inch on either side. Okay, and then about 1.5 inches from front and back. So that's about right. That's about right. There we go. And I'm going to just turn it and kind of make sure that it's even. And I'm eyeballing it. And then I'm going to grab this, just kind of press that down. Oops, let's use the other end. And there you go. Like so. So there is our box. So this will dry. Then we're going to work on the little goodie, one of the little goodies that's going to go in this. For the stacked page book that we're going to put in that box, we're going to need 4 pieces of pattern paper. And the first one will be 6 5/8 by 4 1/4. The second one will be 7 1/8 by 6. The third will be 7 3/8 by 4 1/4. And the fourth one will be 7 5/8 by 6. This is a stacked page book that is kind of like the stacked page waterfall, except we're going to actually use it as a book. Okay, so we're going to take the widest one, which is 7 5/8. I want the pink on the outside, and I want the pockets to be pink on the inside, okay, because of the direction of the paper, okay? So I'm going to put it in my scoreboard. I'm going to score at 3 1/4. I'm going to turn it, score at 3 1/4, and then because this is directional, and I want to make sure this part is the actual page side and it's in the right direction, I want to score the bottom part to fold it up to make the pocket. So I'm going to make sure to put it in my scoreboard right, and then I'm going to score at 4 1/4. Okay, so that's going to be 3 1/4 on each side, and then from the bottom I'm scoring up, which would be 4 1/4. I hope I'm explaining that correctly. So next piece here, it's this purple paper. We're going to put it in our scoreboard. This one is just a straight page. It's 7 3/8. So we're going to score again at 3 1/4, and then we're going to turn it, score at 3 1/4. Put that off to the side. We're going to grab the other 6-inch one, and again, this one has some direction, so I want the pocket to fold up and keep this in the direction it needs to be. Okay, so I'm going to score the bottom portion here at 4 1/4, and then I'm going to turn it on the wide side. I'm going to score at 3 1/4, turn it, score at 3 1/4. Okay, put that off to the side. Last page here, whichever side you want to have on the outside or the inside, it doesn't really matter. We're going to score that at 3 1/4 on the 6 7/8 inch side, turn it, score at 3 1/4. Okay, put this away, and then we're going to fold and burnish. And what you're going to notice is that you're going to have some different sized gussets, and we're just going to stack them as if we were making like a waterfall kind of thing. Okay, except this one's going to have pockets. So we're going to fold and burnish our score lines here. Okay, and then what we're going to do for the pockets is we're going to cut these sections out. We'll do that in just a second. Let's go ahead and fold and burnish all of this stuff first. Okay, get this all prepared like so. And then we'll fold this one up. So now you can see the daffodils are in the right orientation here. All the tulips and daffodils and all that stuff. Isn't that pretty? I love it. All right. Okay. So then what we're going to do is we're going to grab our ruler, and I'm going to do it on this side because it's going to be a little easier, I think, for me to see. And on either side of your score lines, make a 1/4 inch mark. And you're going to have to move your ruler a little bit because the gussets are in 1/8 of an inch instead of quarters, okay? That is actually 1 1/8, okay? So just make sure on either side of those squares you do like a 1/4 inch tick mark. And then I'm just eyeballing this, but you can definitely do your cutter if you want. And I'm just going to trim up to that score line, straight to the point, and however that's easier for you. And then I'm going to fold these down, and then I'm just going to cut that centerpiece off, like so, okay? And that'll make little pockets with the gusset, okay? So we'll do that one more time. I'll do it on the, well, either side, I guess it doesn't matter because it's easier to see. So I'm just lining up on the score line, and I'm making a little 1/4 inch mark on either side. I'm gonna have to move that over. 1/4 inch mark, okay? Taking my scissors, I'm just cutting up to that score line. Okay. Fold that over, fold that back, and then you can cut this off. Really easy, okay? So those are done. Okay, so we have our pages cut, and then what I did was I took a piece of scrap paper that I wanted to use for closing the pockets to keep kind of all of the space of the pockets that I could. And I cut a piece that was 1 1/2 wide, scored it down at 3/4, and then I put it in my favorite punch. And my punch happened to be just perfect with the scallops, where if I cut 3 of the big scallops off, it fit my pockets like perfectly. And I'm just going to glue those to either side, and then that will give a cute little kind of way to decorate those pockets and close them. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this strip because I need like 6 of them. And this has a couple different sizes of the scallops. And you can use any, you know, kind of, punch you want. You don't even have to use a punch if you don't want to. So I'm just going to cut 2 of those off. So I'll use these 2 pink ones for the yellow pocket, and I'm going to use the 2 purple ones for that pocket. And then what we're going to do is just take our little pockets. I'm going to put a little glue, and you can do, whatever side you want. Maybe I will do the purple, or the pattern part of the purple. Just going to put a little glue here, and then just put those around the pockets, and that'll just kind of glue those shut. Really simple. Oops. Move it down just a little bit. Like so. Okay. And that's going to close our pockets. Oops. Let's do that side because I changed my mind. And a little glue here. A little glue here. That around and glue that shut. And then we have a cute little pocket. Okay, so then we'll do this one. And again, you can use your flowers if you want. And I think that's what I'm going to end up doing because I like it. Okay, just a simple way of doing it. All right, then we're going to grab our scoreboard again. We're going to put these together. So these have graduated spines, just like when we do the stacked pages. So I'm going to take my biggest piece, which is this, and you can stack them up and just make sure that you've got them in the order. So the shortest piece will go to the inside, okay? So we're gonna start with our biggest piece. We're gonna put it here, and our score should be at 3 1/4. Hopefully you can see that. I'm gonna grab my second piece, and then we're just gonna layer this down, and we're gonna layer this at 1/8 of an inch away from that score. So the score is at 3 1/4. We're going to do it at 3 3/8. So this has an 1/8 inch gusset to it. All right. And then, oops, making sure, and I did it, let's do it upside down just because I did my fold upside down. Okay. So we've got 3 3/4. I'm going to line that up at 3 1/8. Using my scoreboard to make sure that everything is even. Okay. Like so. Okay. Okay, so make sure you got it in the right orientation. So we're going to fold that. We're going to put glue on the spine. All right. Go to the next 1/8 inch mark. Put that down. Okay, like so. And then our last piece, and this doesn't really have a direction, so yay us. So we've got like a 3/8 inch gusset in the middle of this. All right, so one more 1/8 of an inch, so it is at 3 1/2, that score on the yellow paper. So we're gonna put that green paper down at 3 5/8. That'll be an 1/8 of an inch away. And we have our little stacked pages book. So let's look at it real quick. And then of course we're going to decorate it, right? So it'll have a pocket, a flat page, or a page without a pocket, then a pocket. We got the inside here like that. And then, so my idea with this, and I will decorate this and get back to you, but they had a page of these seed packets in the paper collection. So I cut them all out. This one here, I'm definitely going to put on the front. So I'm going to do that. But then, like this little seed packet type book here, we're going to put some seed packets in the pockets. You can decorate with some seed packets. We're going to do a few things with that. So, oops, let's put it in right side up there. And so you have places to put some little goodies and little tags, okay? I just thought that was really cute. So I'm going to finish decorating this, and then I'll come back. But this, I have a couple left over. I might use those, I might not. We'll see what happens. But that was my idea for that. So when we grab our box, my idea is that this will go in here. Now obviously I'm going to decorate it and do some things. I'm going to put the front on, but that's one of the things that I'm going to put in here. Then I'm going to decorate around here. I did make some flowers out of some of the pattern paper and some of the buttons that came in the design team package. So these are little Country Craft Creations buttons, and then I used some twine that I had purchased from Country Craft Creations, and I just used some dies from Heartfelt Creations that I bought from the store, and the flower mold that I put them in, and then I spritzed them with water, ran them through my die cut machine, and it gave them some really nice dimension, and then I just stacked them up. So I made a bunch of these. This is just a couple of them. And let me show you the dies that I used and the press that I used. So that is the shaping mold that I used. Now, I don't think that that is available anymore at the store. I'll double check, and if it is, I'll put that description in the link below. But I did buy this from Country Craft Creations, and it works really well. So if you have that in your stash, that's what I used. And then I used those two dies, the small wild rose and the leafy accents. So those are the ones that I bought from Country Craft Creations a while ago, and I decided to use them for this project. I didn't have any flowers with this collection, but I wanted some because obviously, you know, flowers. So there you go. So I will come back. We'll finish the little things that are going to go in here, and then we'll go with decorating, and yeah, we'll be done. So I have this is from my stash, a pocket punch board from We Are Memory Keepers that I used, and you can make little pockets with this. So if you have this punch board, I made a flower pouch or flower seed packet, I guess you could say, with it. So I wanted to make something that was 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, and so for that I used a 7 by 5 3/4 inch piece of paper, which gave me all of my flaps. And so when you do that, if you use this board, you'll have to do your settings at D and at 2, and then you use it. If you do not have this, I wanted to show you how to make one without it. So for this one, let's put it actually right here. You would put your paper in with the widest part, so the 7-inch part at the top, and then you would cut, and then you would do your scores. Okay, if you don't have this particular tool, then you can use your regular scoreboard. And I cut a piece of the artisan cardstock at 7 by 5 3/4, and then what I did was I scored it. I'm going to turn it so on the proper side. I scored it at, on the 7, at 1 7/8, and then at 5 1/8, and then I turned it to the 5 3/4 inch side. I scored at 3/4 and at 5. Okay, and then all I did was just round the corners, and then that makes a cute little pocket too. So I wanted to make some seed pockets to go in the pocket. This one here I made already, and I did use one of the flower seed packets that I cut out of the 12 by 12 paper, and then I backed it on a piece of scrap cardstock, and then I just put it on the front. Then I went through my desk and I found some really cute little paper clips. So I had some that were the same color. I put a little seam binding on them, and that'll hold them closed. Now inside of these, I did take some index cards, and I just cut one 4 by 6 in half, rounded the corners, and then put that in there. So you have little journaling spots in there. And you have these cute little seed packets. So I'm going to have that. So when you do this, you're going to cut out those corners from the scores, and then you're just going to fold it. And I put a little bit of glue on this side and a little bit of glue on this side, and just glued that shut. And then the bottom, I just put a little bit of glue here. I didn't want to get it inside the pocket, so I just kind of kept it to the edge and glued that down here. Okay. And then that's your pocket, and this will just fold over and be the flap. So that'll be the top of your little seed packet. Then I have my papers ready to go. So I have, again, another piece of pattern paper, and then one of the little seed packet cut aparts that come in this paper collection that is just absolutely adorable. And I'm going to put that here. And then glue that to the front. And, you know, voila, you have this cute little seed packet that goes right along with the theme of this paper collection. I just absolutely love it. So there you go. When I trimmed the seed packets out, they became about 2 3/4 by 3, little bit less than 3 3/4. So I cut the pink pattern paper to back it at 3 by 4 to just kind of put it on the packet. And then I have another little paper clip that kind of matches the color theme, and just tied a little bow at the top. That's all I did. That's all I did. Okay, so then this one made with that punch board, I'm just going to go ahead and fold this one so you can just see how that looks. And again, I'm just going to put the glue here and the glue here. Glue that shut. And you can see this one here has more of a cutout here from the score of the bottom. So that's why you want to be careful with the glue if you're going to do it with that particular little punch. Now that punch I've had in my stash, I did not get that from Country Craft Creations. It's just one of the tools that I have in my stash, but that's why I wanted to show you how to make one without. So there you go, that's the back. And then this one here, I decided to go with that purple piece. Let's see, let's put this in here. We got 2 for each of those little pockets. So you can have some little journaling spaces. You can pop pictures in there and then have a cute little decoration to go in those pockets. So I will have the album decorated and I'll show you how I did that. And then I will have the outside decorated. I'll show you the handle. That'll be all kind of the decoration stuff will be in the final video. All right, so these will go in the explosion box. Let's get our explosion box. So far you can see what it's going to look like. It's going to be amazing. So there's that. And then of course the book will be finished by then, and that will go in here as well. So you'll have some really cute little fun things to put in there. And then this will close up and fold in and fold in, and then our lid. So like I said, the next tutorial will be the final decorations. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this part of the tutorial. All of the pieces are done, and I'll see you again soon. So stay crafty and have a great evening, and I'll be back soon. Bye-bye.